National Weather Service has issued a severe weather warning. Storm Jemima has hit the north. A tornado intensity warning F3 is set to tear through your life, turn everything on its head. Emotions will be rife. This weather warning is most certainly a code red. We cannot yet say whether the damage will be widespread, but there is sure to be a blustery path ahead. Her sudden appearance may cause confusion. No need to adjust. She won't be a long-lasting intrusion. However, after the initial luminosity, you may become disillusioned. You're going to bind in a whirlwind of heart-pounding excitement and fear of devastation. Please beware of her irresistible fixation on you. She will cling to you. She will consume you. She will rip off your roof, leaving you exposed to who knows who, because she believes it could be good for you. Opening up to places you never knew existed. Her judgment may be twisted, but her mystery can't be resisted. Her patterns can't be predicted. Her actions can't be restricted. She's going to sweep you off your feet. Let you swirl amongst her cloud of frozen memories. You being at the centre of her should not be confused with you having a life of your own to which you should retreat. She will drop you back down to the ground alongside your hail-stricken heartbeat. How is it you feel complete when your heart is debris, drowning on concrete? Leaves fly from branches of trees like birds. If she teaches you one thing, let it be to be free. To have no restrictions on the speed at which you chase your needs, that even after lightning strikes you can still succeed, that caught up in the strongest gust you can still breathe. Her aggression was not meant for you. No one wants to be a disaster, no matter how natural. It accumulated inside of her and she blew spine-chilling surface winds into your eyes, blindingly beautiful skies disturbed by cries to go back in time. Power flashes from lines like the way for broken futures to collide. She invites you along for the ride to make this more complex. What nonsense! A multiple vortex is more destructive than a single cyclone. Don't let her drag you too far into the unknown or rotate your thoughts until dust becomes your home. If you're brave enough to cut off the air supply, the vortex will weaken. Roping out, tornado choked with doubt of her existence, becoming a thing cut out of her former self. Trees creak as they straighten their backs to watch her dissipate. You won't see the same her again. Don't forget, after the storm will come a rainbow. A rainbow to frame the lasting impression that became all that remained from the life-threatening game she played. How colourful it is up to you. Thank you, hello.
Long enough for me to drink my water. Got a fucking book out! This came out during lockdown and should have been a book launch and a book tour including one of these nights. They all got cancelled like everybody else's stuff, so this is, I think, my third performance this week because they all just suddenly came in 1 week. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me and for listening. This book is for sale today. Please don't feel obliged. They're £10 each. If somebody said that to me right now, I wouldn't have £10 to give them. So if you're in that situation, please don't push yourself to buy a book. But if you are interested, I have some with me. This is a story of mental illness. It talks about the trauma that it stemmed from. It's autobiographical as well. And it also has a story of like love and heartbreak weaving through it, because I think we underestimate how much those things impact our mental health. So I was writing through the pain. As my tears, they touch the page. They blur the ink like the line between friendship and fate. But it's worth it, because you've probably felt the same. Have you? He makes me feel like I'm his when he speaks my name. I mean, it could just be the way I'm hearing it. He isn't to blame. Let's face it, he probably does say every other person's name with the same voice. I forgive any of his actions to keep on the receiving end of his reactions. I replace other people's time for his interaction because he's a profound distraction. I try focusing on a positive outcome to encourage the law of attraction, but it's infiltrated with negativity as I convince myself I am not to his satisfaction. Being good enough for yourself, I like to think that can be taught. Being good enough for someone else is not a battle that should ever be fought, but if he asked me to be his bag for life, I would. I'd hold his baggage and he'd use me over and over again because love hurts this good. Fast forward to the weekend, and I'm hanging out with my friend. The soundtrack to our evening is Arctic Monkeys' Mardy Bum because he says I've got a face on. I'm wishing it was I Want to Be Yours and that he was serenading me with some kind of light-hearted allure, but I know the most appropriate tune to be snap out of it because if someone doesn't grab my shoulders and shake, I am never going to quit. I might be putting 1 and 1 together and coming up with 11, but I'll take it if the answer means we're side by side. I'm not shy. But he's making me question whether these are emotions that I should hide. I watch films I would never watch and don't pay any attention, then pray he doesn't lose the storyline and ask me a question. He'll clock the lead and exclaim, she's fit, and although I probably agree, I'm just wishing he'd said it about me. I mean, he's open and he feels his feelings with me, but I guess that's because I'll share with anyone given a mic, a stage and some company. How can he complete me and I not complete him? When I thought of love, I'd have seen red or pink and now the colour of his eyes seeps in. He is the flame and I am the wax. The brighter he burns, I just melt against the glass. If we can sing like losers at the top of our lungs on the first car ride, how is this not already a work of art and a one I'll find? I have never been into astrology, but I'm reading both our star signs, only believing it when it sounds like our stars are perfectly aligned. When the pain hits, it's like the borrowers have snuck into my chest and they're pulling at different sides of my heart, causing distress, each giving instructions from within of what I should do is not worth it. You're gonna get hurt. He probably feels the same as you. Am I in love? Or am I in love with the idea of being in love with him when really I want to rip off his clothes with lust, but I don't want to be labelled a slut, so I'm using love as a pseudonym. I look at him. He's already looking at me. He looks away. I try. But my eyes fixate. Everything is still. Everything except my butterflies giggling over the prospect of romance, over the prospect of that look being more than just a well-timed glance. I've never felt peace like I have in his eyes, and now I'm in a trance. His eyes drew in my heart in pencil, and rather than seeing it as temporary, I thought I saw potential. My girlfriends will say it's his loss, but I know it's mine, because if he could see what he was doing to my heart and my mind, he wouldn't think it was fine. He would think he crossed the line, and he'd say, I'm sorry, I should have read the signs. The emotion comes in waves, and like a wave to the shore, he washed over me unconsciously, shifting pieces of me to suit him until I didn't recognise me anymore. My heart is sweating from all its hard work. The borrowers are singing under the shower to REM Everybody Hurts. I want to cry, but then he'll ask why, and I'll have to lie and say I'm hormonal, it's just that time, and then he'll comfort me with his skin on mine, and I'll lose more control than when I caught his eye. I sing those car ride songs in the shower like a fool, and I rehearse our conversations with the door frame because it has a bit more substance than a flat wall. Me pretending to act naturally has got me looking like a real oxymoron, so just trying to articulate something that can only be felt, but I can't stop going on. I worry when we're not talking in case he's talking to someone else for one of the two, because I need to know he's safe. I can't stand the thought of him suddenly being gone, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm putting all my eggs in his basket so that when he takes it to the checkout, my heart can be spent. And I'm asking for a refund even though I'm not the one with the receipt and the purchase was made with my consent. Why would he want me if when he looks at me he sees himself? Because he is all I believe I am now, and he already loves him. He doesn't need me to show him how. I don't know my heart anymore. I only know ours, and although we've only been in the same room for the last 20 minutes, all these thoughts racing around have made it seem like ours. My butterflies begin to morph back into caterpillars, and the borrowers are digging a grave in my heart to bury the idea of us before I have the chance to become bitter. I want to be what he is to me, to someone else. But that is a lot to ask. He was never mine. It's time for me to take a step back. And still, I'm looking at him. He looks at me. I look away. Thank you. dry mouth and stumbling over words. It's great. This book is dedicated in part to my parents for a very good reason. They're in their 70s, and when I got really mentally unwell, they updated all of the views and probably judgments they'd had around mental illness, ingrained in them as they'd grown up, to accommodate me, to accept me, to understand me. And I think it's such a powerful thing if we can be open to changing our views on things. That's how we change the world. So that was really special for me that they did that. And at a time when I couldn't communicate with them verbally because I was just too unwell, or at least I was struggling to communicate verbally, I wrote to them and I told them, I've never lied to you before. Yet you still question, are you sure? When I tell you I'm okay, I've never lied to you before. Until now. I'm lost. I'm lost like our home movies on old VHS. I need to be converted to work in this modern world before you can gain access. I'm a closed book of poems you want to read. My brain goes as deep as a submarine. The deeper I go, the less light can penetrate the waters to reach me. I'm racing the go-kart you bought us as kids, head first into the wall I've built. Cutting through the rope of the tyre, swing you aid with my razor-sharp tongue. I'm on time one end of the zip line to make it more difficult for us to reach the other side. Hammering on the slats with my heavy heart of the tree house you built when we were young. I'm making a molehill out of the mountain you once were. I got your eyes, but trying to see through them is one big blur. I maintain that what you don't know can't hurt you, but I know you create scenarios in your head and it's worse. I don't want to be interesting or funny because that warrants attention. Too close for comfort has never rang so true. I'm looking for a cure because I left it too late for prevention, and I'm sorry. I wiped away your touch. I know your intention. I misjudged, but I've spent a decade wiping away his, and this reaction won't budge. Soft kisses sit on my skin like paper cuts. How can I feel like you're trying to reduce my rights when you're trying to reduce my pain? How can I feel like you're holding me back when you're holding back the knife from my vein? You're gathering me back together and I'm giving you one more wrinkle every time my silence increases the strain, and I'm sorry that you didn't get to say goodbye to her. But she feels so much peace. She couldn't take on the world as it is now. She said it's a job for me, and I agree that an initiation period is routine with any newly filled vacancy. If my job had been as unrewarding as yours has been recently, I'd have quit, but you work harder. Anytime I hoist up the anchor, you throw it back down with a reminder that it is safer in the harbour. Your love has been known to move monsters for me, and mine moves you to tears. On the outside, you're the sturdy frame around our family photos. Inside, you're on your knees praying for my nightmares to disappear, and I'm sorry I can't feel for you. But my frozen heart pumps cold blood around my body, and it's making me numb. I should treat you better knowing you're the ones that never falter, knowing you're there at the end of any episode regardless of the outcome, but I am a constant contradiction of help me, no don't. I still hang on your every word, but sometimes I like to cut the rope. You're there every time at the bottom to catch me if I can't stop. Your love travels faster than my thoughts, and you anticipated this before I dropped. I don't like goodbyes since the thought became permanent, but you need one before I leave. I want to slow down and take in this moment, but my brain has the body of an athlete. You wind me up like a jack-in-the-box, but it's a toy you've never seen before. You want to know you're cranking up the tension, or whether you'll be met with a children's party clown or that lunatic from Saw. The small things that make me scowl now will be the things I know I miss the most. The sounds that make me twitch will be the sounds I wish were still this close. I wish I could let you love me in the way you want to. I've never seen something so unconditional. You've changed your views on everything for me to be more modern and less traditional. Now, 1 hour at a time, you'll say, and I know you understand. You might die tomorrow, just go for it. I can take that kind of command. We've all felt the heat on this last trip around the sun. Something has to give to relieve some pressure on the next one. My biggest fear is that one day it'll be too late and I won't have fixed it before you're done. But thank you for letting me learn to walk again before I learn to run. So this is me, opening up my closed book of poems for you to read, in the hope it goes some way to setting us free, to overcoming my biggest fear and not sitting on the stairs for conversation so that there's a barrier in between. Just wait. I will always come back to you. Just wait, if you have time. See, you wrote that poem, and I realised you're the reason that I write.
You are the reason that I'm alive. Thank you so much for having me, guys.